It is both ways. That's why I brought up that issue of there's when you talk about toxic marriages, it goes both ways in terms of emotional and psychological abuse within the husband and the wife. And you also buttress my point on the issue of men also acting out on the woman when the wife doesn't have that much to offer in homes. That is why I mentioned earlier in my earlier point that um, in a marriage where there's no value added during the course of marriage, get to the issue of the psychological part of why toxic marriages, what affects how affects the kids. I wanted to stay on the issue of the man and the woman themselves. Um, my understanding so far is that you listed it earlier on about the causes of the causes of toxic marriages. What stood out for me, one was issue of finances, as far as I'm concerned, finances, and of course emotional abuse, and of course physical abuse. But most often than not, and I've done my research and I found out that um, if you take away emotional abuse and physical abuse, what really cause a lot of toxic marriages is finances. Okay, finance has been the key word. If those finances now metamorphosize to now abusive and emotional abuse. So if you take away the issue of finance, do you think as a lady that part of this problem or some of the problem or this problem itself can be resolved?
uh, when it comes to the financial aspect of, just like you're saying, financial issues bring a lot of problems to marriages, you know, and that, like I said, is that part of that toxicity in a marriage. I might be in a marriage whereby when the man is in charge, which is supposed to be the man that's supposed to be in charge, and the woman, when God created man and woman, He made the woman as a helper to the man. But in some situations, whereby in a marriage, a woman takes control financially, the man is like being kind of subdued. Why would my wife or why would my partner be making money more than myself? Now you see that man, he crawls into his shell. There's nothing you will say that will make that man happy. Anything you say, he will turn it into something else. Anything you do will become a problem. Maybe the things you used to do before, that there's nothing, but because there's some financial attachment to it now, because you have grew somehow, it's gonna become an issue.
Yeah.
And when these things become an issue, I mean, you see you yourself suffering emotionally and psychologically, because anything you do, there's nothing you're gonna do to satisfy that your partner at
Yeah.
that particular point in time.
Yes. I want to believe that's one of the problems that, like I told you, I don't know, that metamorphosize into emotional and physical abuse or in a toxic marital situation. But I also want to say this, that when we look at toxic situation in a marriage, um, see, men do have pride, and we have to understand that. And I mentioned it earlier on when you and I were discussing about, even if you're a daughter of Mother Teresa, uh, at a point in time when you start to make more money than your husband, than your spouse, uh, your ego starts to flare up. You don't really know. You're probably going to be saying things that you ought not to say to your spouse, because you're telling him, "Oh, I'm the one that paid the bills in the house. So what have you been doing? What have you been doing? You didn't do this." So no man wants to stand that. So when we talk about emotional abuse, to the metamorphosize from financial abuse, let's not forget the fact that there's also women that emotionally abuse their husbands too. How do we now relate that? Because when you talk earlier on about the man will not go into show, but if you can go to show if your woman is abusing you emotionally too. Lori, what do you think about that?
Like I said, I don't really think so. In somehow, like you said, most of our males, their ego and pride is up here, and they cannot stand the situation whereby, okay, my wife is making more than me. Let me tell you something. Some women, they make money more than their husband, but they are still loyal. They are still humble because that man is your crown that is put on your head. You try everything you can do to give that man that respect. But at the end of the day, just like I said, whatever thing you say or whatever thing you do, he misunderstands you because he feels intimidated because, oh, the woman is making more money than myself. But you, the woman, does not have that, there. You might go outside there. Some of us, you carry that man on top of your head. Nobody out there knows that you are the one that is doing most of the thing or making the money, or you're making money more than your husband. But because of how we are built, the men of our culture are the culture builds our men. That ego and pride will always make them to think that, oh, because you are this or because you are that, then you cannot do. Husband and wife have misunderstandings. Does not mean that things are going to go out of hand, or the man will now channel it, oh, because you are making money more than me, that's why you are acting this way. It might be the way you act and play with it before, but all of a sudden, because things has changed, anything you do, he picks offense.
Yeah.
So that's I don't see much there. But like I said, our men and at the same time our women, we need to bring our ego down. Do not misunderstand your spouse because he or she is making money more than you. Most of our men, when they make the money, there's the same way they treat their wives. Even back home or we in the diaspora here, the man will start acting somehow funny. You're gonna be like, is it not this person that me and him we grew up together from nothing, and we get to this place all of a sudden because he's in a higher position, he has made that little blessing that God has given to him. You see him, his attitude and outward, everything will change.
Yeah.
Sometimes you sit down to ask yourself that question. Is the same thing with the woman? So it's like it's both ways.
Yeah, it is both ways. That's why I brought up that issue of there's when you talk about toxic marriages, it goes both ways in terms of emotional and psychological abuse within the husband and the wife. And you also buttress my point on the issue of men also acting out on the woman when the woman the wife doesn't have that much to offer in homes. That is why I mentioned earlier in my earlier point that in a marriage where there's no value added during the course of marriage in be the wife or the husband, there is bound to be a toxic relationship because whenever the man makes more, he loses respect for his wife, and of course when the woman makes more, of course the respect goes out the window. And most importantly, the only difference between a man and a woman, I must say this, Lori Abido, is that men do always stay in these marriages longer than women, because when a woman realizes that she has, when she's making more money than a spouse, the urge to leave the marriage is always there. So am I right in saying that, Lori Abido, that the urge to leave marriages is there when they feel that because the financial situation is so toxic now, they can't stand it anymore. They have to leave the marriages. Is that part of the problem?
I don't. believe so, but like I said, there's much one can take at any different time.
Okay.
You might do everything possible to make things work, but when is somebody throws it on your face, I mean,
Yeah.
we are all human beings.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's think about it. Let's
Yes.
think about it.
Yes. All right. Although we've talked about the causes of toxic marriages, and we also mentioned the fact that why do some men and women stays in those kind of marriages. Now we're going to go to the final part of this point, which is what can we do as spouses, as marital men and women in marriages? What can we do to bring to create an harmonious situation in homes? I'm not saying that we're going to solve issue of toxic marriages. That's not going to happen. But to reduce the effect of it, what can a man or a husband do and a wife do in the marriages so that the issue of financial, emotional abuse, and physical abuse can be reduced or even be eradicated completely?
I would say there's no way we can eradicate it completely as far as this life is concerned. You know, in a toxic marriage, if you want to make things work, you're gonna try. You can only try to make your partner to understand that what he is thinking or what you the woman is thinking or what you are feeling is not what he or she thinks that you have in mind. Then when we try all those things and still it doesn't work, like I said before, the men's ego, especially those from us from Africa, our men, their ego is too much. Pride is too much. As he said in the Bible, God hates pride. It's one of the things that made God drove Lucifer out of his kingdom because of pride. We need to calm down a little bit. Be you the woman, be you the man. Try as much as you can to be accommodating. When you try all these things to make things work, and if it's not working, I don't know what else one can do. Just like I said before, when you push somebody and push somebody to the wall and you're still pushing the person, what do you intend? Do not put certain things on your wife or your husband's face, especially when the children are there. Because when an emotion is killed, there are certain things you say, it goes in and kills something inside somebody, especially somebody you have been with for a long time. It's gonna be hard to bring that light that is turned off. It's gonna be hard to turn it back on again.
Yeah.
And especially when a man will talk down on you, or you the woman talks down on your husband in front of your children. Do you think how is it going to affect the children? Even if when the two of you are meant tomorrow, when those children see the two of you, they will still remember those things. But if it is within the closed door between the two of you, yes, you know that yes, it's between the two of us. So that's why we're going to be careful in so many things we do. It's easy for a man and a woman to have their issues, and at the end of the day, they get back. But there are some certain things that has been said and done
That cannot be changed.
that cannot be changed.
Yes. Yeah, Lori, thank you very much for that point. And I also want to talk about the issue of we talk about pride, and now let's not fool ourselves. Men and women have pride. Our pride as men may be a little bit much higher than our women, but we still have pride in our own sense. And I would say this: when a man will have pride when he sees the woman he sends to school making more money than him, the woman he sacrificed so much for all these years, all he has worked for is to make sure his spouse becomes somebody, and now this spouse now is rubbing it in his face. How do you think that man gonna take it? And I will also say it another way around too, because I've seen wives that send their husband to school here in the diaspora, And when they now become somebody, they now rub it in the wife's face. So it goes both ways when you look at it in terms of pride. Of course, women have more pride than you ladies. You're more submissive to us in that situation. So I think that when you look at it, Olori, we have to say that it's not about pride. It's about the fact that uh, we feel backslapped. Okay, some men feel backslapped that you think I'm being prideful, but the issue is that I invested so much in you as a husband or as a wife, and now this is what I got. So, Lori, do you think I'm right in saying that?
I can say that you are right in a way, and you are not right. You are wrong in some ways.
Okay, tell me
Okay,
where I'm wrong at.
that's okay. There's some marriages or there's some relationships where you look at it as we are talking about pride. You know, the man might decide, or within the two of you, you agree. You send your wife to school, and the wife comes out, does not make that woman to lose that respect and regard that he has for the husband,
Some of them do
no
now.
matter what.
Some of them
But
do
some
really
of us,
respect.
yes,
Yes.
some of us in the diaspora,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's very rampant with us women in the diaspora. That was just what I said. I remember I told you that one time when I came newly, when I told my husband that I want to go to a nursing school, he was like, no, you're not going. Because tomorrow now, oh, they're going to say, America Lawa. I mean, which is not a. So I really told him, I say, it depends on your upbringing. It depends who you are and what kind of family you are. I have a family of disciplinarians. My father is a teacher, school principal. My mother is a teacher. I know the environment I was brought up. A lot of these big shots out there are are product of my father because my father taught them, you know. So you will not use because of that and now make your husband look lesser than anything, you know. But most of us, we lack that. And I do not encourage it. If a man will go out of his way and send you to school to become something, and at the end of the day, you come out and you now know that that man is not up to your standard again. No, I will not condone that with my kind of background and with who I am. But at the same time, we need to look at things and try and work things out together. So many marriages in diaspora has gone what I don't know how to, the kind of adjective that I will use to qualify it because of what, oh, my husband is this, oh, my husband is that, oh, my husband is this, oh, my husband is that, oh, my wife is this, oh, my wife is that. Before you go into that marriage with that man, must have known the man a little bit. Like most of us in the diaspora here, our men suffer a lot. Fine, they suffer a lot. They bring us here. We need to still give them that respect. But when it turns around for you to use it to tout that woman, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
It goes both ways.
It goes both ways. Yeah.
Yes, it goes both ways.
All right, Olori, I'll be doing. I also we're gonna round up now, but the issue of this topic is a topic that touches almost all aspects of men and women in the diaspora, and I want to go back to your point that you made earlier on about our mothers staying in marriages longer because they didn't really feel that the threat of even though most of them were in toxic marriages at that time. There was no liberation. There was no those kind of environment at that time that kind of buttress that kind of situation that can allow you to speak out to your husband, and even though you know that could be you could put your life in danger. But I think part of the reason now that even though there's toxic marriages here in the diaspora, the solution for most men or most ladies is that they leave these marriages. So do you agree with me that the reason why we don't have a whole lot of toxic marriages here in diaspora because when that happens, women are smart enough to leave these marriages?
It's not only the women that leaves the marriages; men leave. As far as as far as I'm concerned, the law in the diaspora favors women a lot, but that notwithstanding, we have to do what we think is possible for our children, because whatever we do, we have to put our children first.
Okay.
I said it before, and I'm still saying it again. No matter how toxic a marriage is, when it starts affecting the children, it's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's going to affect them emotionally. They go to school, you see them, they act out, they do some certain things they're not supposed to do. Because why? Because they're so frustrated of what is happening between mom and dad.
Yeah.
And when mom and dad are not happy, the problem is that the children will not be happy, and there will not be peace in the house.
There won't be no peace at all. And it's unfortunate that in the result of toxic marriages is divorces and separation, and we all know that children are the recipients of this bad environment, and most of them don't survive it, and most of them that do survive eventually never fully recovered from it. Although this is probably where we're going to stop today. I know that this is a very broad topic. We have able to touch every other aspect of marital issues. We talked about professional, but by nurses, they do have this kind of issue more. We talk about men and all kind of stuff. But I'm sure this is a topic that we're going to revisit some other day. But as at this point, I think some of our viewers will understand that this is not a situation that we're going to go away anytime soon.
No.
But we shedding light onto this topic will maybe to able to for people to able to at least understand that somebody out there shares their pain.
Yes.
And hopefully that can be the pain can go away hopefully anytime soon. Oloye Abidoye, thank you for coming to the first inaugural show of Royal Chat. And like I told you before we started this program, I said that I would really like you to come and be part of this program more often. I know you have a job you got to go to. Whatever you're free, this is your home. Come over and join us because you're always welcome here.
Thank you so much, Kabish.
Yeah, anytime.
I'm really privileged, and I am happy to be here. And like I said, anytime you call me, if I have the chance, apart from my work, I will always honor your invitation anytime.
Thank you, Oloye. Oloye Abidoye. And also, I want to say to my viewers watching us, Oloye Abidoye is she's a wonderful wife to Mrs. Abidoye. So I don't want you to think that because I'm Kabisi, she's my wife. No, she's somebody else's wife. She's happily married and lovely wife to Mr. Abidoye. So thank you very much, Oloye, for that. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's the end of the show, guys, and I hope you enjoyed our program. We hope to see you next time on the next show on next new topic. Till then, have a good time and stay blessed. Bye bye.